to Turing Dev Talks. My name is Jose and I will be your host for today. And I'm tuning in from Montreal, Canada. And today on the panel, we have Pedro. Pedro is joining us from São Paulo, Brazil. But before we start, I just want to share with you that I am Brazilian and I'm in Montreal. Pedro is Brazilian and he is in São Paulo, Brazil, and we both are working for a US company. And I just want to share with you that you can do it as well. So if you want to work with US companies 100% remotely, you just go to turing.com/jobs. Okay, choose the job that is more suitable for your tech skills and apply for the jobs and go through the vetting process. And once you are signed up and pass through the vetting process, you get a job like us. All right, as that said, so I'd like to begin these discussions, and I would like to tell you guys that Pedro is a software engineer here at Turing, and he has worked on Java, Ruby on Rails, React, Angular, Node, and also he's expert in artificial intelligence and machine learning, as well in NLP, and natural language processing. But today, he is here to walk us through to the world of AI and help us to understand chatbots and how it works, and maybe even help us to build our own. So that will be pretty cool. So stay tuned to the end, then you see. So hi, Pedro. First of all, thanks a lot for joining us today. And how are you doing? How has the new year been for you so far?
Hello, Jose. Thanks for inviting me for our event today. Thanks everyone that's watching. I'm pretty cool today. It was a warm day, but now it's raining here. It's a good day for us to talk a little bit about AI and machine learning and chatbots.
Yeah, pretty much sure that this should be very interesting for our audience.
Perfect. My new year began very well. A lot of things to learn. Our world keeps evolving. We need to keep learning. And that's what I want to do this year, keep learning.
All right, so thank you. So did you wear white during the new year?
Yes, it's a tradition here in Brazil. I know that you know that. And I wear white because I always wish for a more peaceful year, a more peaceful world, because we need that to keep us better understanding and don't get mad with each other. And you work together.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. I did wear white as well. So I'm hoping for peace and just let's learn a little bit more, right? All right, so now we have seen multiple examples of AI in smart devices like Alexa, Siri, and also for even self-driving cars, right? But only a few know what goes behind the systems. And I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit about artificial intelligence and how it actually works.
Yes, so first of all, artificial intelligence isn't one thing. It's a set of things, a set of features that make systems looks intelligent. And what it does, what this means to be intelligent. It means that you can understand a text. You are presented with text and extract context from it. You're presented with audio, images, videos, and extract context from it. Understand the elements and the relation between those elements, and even construct new things from it. So artificial intelligence is a bunch of features, not just one. And we call it NLP, natural language processing, speech to text, text to speech, image recognition. And inside all of those features, we have ways to make the system understand each of one of those aspects. And we have ways to do it. We could create algorithms with a lot of conditions. But for each new problem, we have one different algorithm and one way of doing that. And one of those aspects of being intelligent is being able to learn new things and trying to mimic the way the humans learn new things. We came up with this way of making machines being able to learn that we call machine learning. It's a very technical thing, but it is trying to mimic the way that our brain works. We have neurons, we have information coming in and comparing with things that we already know what is right, what is wrong. And that is machine learning in general. All of those aspects that I told you, speech recognition, image understanding, natural language processing, we can apply machine learning to make understanding, to extract context from each of one of those aspects. So artificial intelligence uses machine learning to mimic human intelligence, and the computer has to learn how to respond to certain actions. So it uses algorithms and historical data to create something called propensity model. Propensity models will then start making predictions like scoring leads or something. Yeah,
I can. So we need a huge database, right, for that?
Sorry?
We need a huge database for that, right?
Yes, we need a huge database, huge data sets, a lot of human work to classify and say to the machine what is right or what is wrong, or in the most technical way, what is expected to be right and what is expected to be wrong.
Nice. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, the AI can do much more than this, but those are common uses and functionality for marketing. And while it might seem like the machines are ready to rise up and take over, as I said, humans are still needed to do much of the work. Mainly
that's something that I'm not expect that to happen, right? I mean, the humans need to be on control. Yeah.
No, we won't be, certainly not. We may need to lead to deal with AI better, not to think AI as a stated truth, but a way of understanding data and put our own thought process on it before taking action on the decisions that it makes or the predictions that it makes.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. So everyone that follows Turing knows that I'm a JavaScript guy, but artificial intelligence is on my radar in the future. Maybe I change my path for work with that because I really like that. And yeah, so, and as we mentioned before, self-driving car and also chatbots, okay, which look like a pretty interesting example for us to understand the AI better. What else can we find? What else can we do with AI? So I've seen Alexa, right? I've seen lights, I say light graphics. What else we can do?
Well, AI is a dynamic tool used across industries for better decision-making, increasing efficiency, and eliminating repetitive work. You can find its use everywhere around you in healthcare with watches like Fitbit and iWatch, self-driving cars, as we previously talked about. One famous example of this would be the autopilot cars produced by Tesla. And you have fields like banking and finance, surveillance, social media. And even recently, Instagram revealed how it's been using AI to customize content from the Explore tab. We even have AI in the education, gaming, entertainment sector. Netflix and Amazon Prime rely heavily on the info collected by the users to recommend new content for each one in a personal way. And even is being used in agriculture, e-commerce, robotics, and space exploration. There's a lot of space to apply AI in our current world and in the future.
That's so cool, man. So also students use AI to match developed with the right job, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah, that's the most important thing that you guys must know. So we use AI internally. So Pedro can speak more about that, but we use AI internally to match you guys with the best job. Okay, not the best job, but the job that better fits you. So we want to give you your best experience in the world, and it's 100% remote. So yeah, let's keep in touch for that. So you mentioned a lot of features that we can use AI, and that's so interesting. And in fact, it came across a survey by Gartner, and they stated that 37 of organizations have implemented AI in somewhere in their projects, and the percentage of the enterprise employing AI grew up like 270% over the past 4 years. So that's a huge improvement, right? And with this in mind, what do you think the future would look like with AI in the future? So do you think AI will find its place in anywhere or in everything?
To answer this question, we need to understand something crucial about our society. In 2020, we created 2.5 quintillion data bytes daily.
That's a lot.
Yes, there are 18 zeros in a quintillion. And for this number, we need to take into account that not all human beings have access to internet or a computing device that generates data. So in the future, with more people having access to devices and the internet and new ways of interacting with the world and generating data, this number will increase a lot. We don't even have a clue what this gigantic number means. You know,
yeah.
Can you imagine something that has a magnitude of 18 zeros?
No, I can't.
A quintillion dollars, quintillion houses, quintillion human beings. And this, remembering, it's a daily number. It's not all through the year. It's just daily.
So I don't even know how much storage we need to just to store these numbers, to store this data. So also, so what's the computer to process that data? So I think my MacBook Air will not process that data at all.
And not even my Dell computer here.
Yeah, I cannot put background on my Zoom. So my computer doesn't get that. I need to improve my MacBook too. But a nice background. All right, man. So and
finishing with all that, what I'm really trying to evidence is that it's impossible for us to process all of this data. And basically what AI does for us is take all of that information into its insight engines and make a sense of it. It is a tool that brings power to the humans and make them aware of the meaning contained by its data. Of course, we still need to find all of the meanings, but at least some of them we can grasp by using AI to help us process all of that. So in the end, answering your question, yes, I really think that AI will find its place in all of aspects of modern human life.
Yeah, and I would like to be here to see that, because I love that, right? So so if you are interested in this content, I will invite you to like this video. Okay, please leave a message in the comment section below. What if you have any question, okay, any concern about this, if you agree with us or not. So we are here to hear you, and I just want to say that I read all comments and I love to read that, and also I reply them as well. All right, Pedro. So all of these look like really interesting and exciting, but and how about the developers? So should they learn more about machine learning and AI and enter in this field, or what does the scope look like for them?
Well, AI is one of the fastest growing sectors in the tech sector. As you can see, the scope of AI has expanded into many sectors, including healthcare, transport, and security. And due to such growth, multiple industries require the expertise of skilled AI professionals. And according to a report from job search site Indeed, the 3 most in-demand AI jobs on the market are data scientists, software engineers, and machine learning engineers. The demand for these and other AI roles has more than doubled over the past 3 years, and it's expected to keep growing at a similar pace.
Nice.
Software developers themselves must realize that their skill sets will have to change. The skills that software developers need to be proficient on AI projects include math, algebra, calculus, statistics, big data, data mining, data science, natural language processing, computer vision, speech recognition, and so on. And you must be aware that there's a lot of research currently being developed in each of one of these areas. So it's not an easy way to be super expert in all of those areas. You need to focus on one, keep looking at the papers that are released monthly almost, because it's a hot topic today, to keep on and trying to make your skill sets better.
All right, and so as you mentioned, it's growing up so fast, right? And so I'd like to ask you for jobs. How is the job demand for guys that work with machine learning and AI in general?
There's a lot of jobs today, as Gartner said on your own research there that you quoted. AI is applied on every industry, on every company for decision making. Every company it's trying to acquire the most data out of its users, of its relationship with their customers, their suppliers, their own employees, and using all of that, trying to make decisions more accurate, objectively trying to pursue some business objective. Oh, I want to grow revenue, I want to reach more people, I want to have more impact on some slice of the market. How I will do that? How are the data that supports my decision, the strategies that I need to do to pursue those objectives? As these are common tasks on the administration of business companies, AI is there and will be there for a long period of time.
That's so cool. And so now it's the time for the developer to learn AI, right? In fact, a recent 2020 report from Statista revealed that the global AI software market is expected to grow approximately 54% for each year, and expected to reach a forecast size of $22.6 billion. So that's a large amount. I don't know what to do with this amount. All right, and I agree with everything you said so far. So the world of AI has a lot to offer, but staying relevant this area. So it's extremely important to keep learning, right? And as we mentioned earlier, so we mentioned chatbots, we mentioned self-driving car, and a lot of things that we can do with AI, right? Could you please walk us through the work of the base keys for create our own chatbot?
Chatbot have, in a simple way, 4 components. The first one is the conversation engine. It's a system that is capable of processing text by applying natural language processing techniques, identifying what is mainly called intents and entities, adding, storing, and extracting context from all of those texts. And with all of these information, understand user needs, decide if itself is capable of going further to assist the user and position itself inside what we call a dialogue flow. All of these inside this conversation engine. The number 2 component is user interface, a way that the user can send and receive messages to the system. It can be a mobile app, a website in the internet, a command line interface, whatever, any way of interacting with the solution. The third component is not just one thing, but a bunch of things in the same set that we call satellite systems. They are simply other systems that can be inquired to add information to the conversation. We can think about CRM with customer data, authentication and authorization systems, billing, services, databases, and so on. Each one has its own way of being inquired, such REST interfaces, database queries, SOAP, web services, file system integrations, and so on. And the last one, the last component, is the orchestrator. It glues everything up. It's the maestro of the symphony. Receives the message, sends to the conversation engine, gets the reply, the context. If extra information is needed, integrates that flow with the satellite systems and put all together to the user. But this is just a beginning. I told here a chatbot, and when we say chatbot, we are mainly focusing on the text part, chat text. But we can go a little further. We can have virtual assistants and expand a little bit to include audio messages, images, and video files.
Yeah, that's so cool. I've seen something like that in a few websites. So you go for websites, especially for shopping websites, you actually has a virtual assistant. You talk and they talk with you. It's like a cell phone. Yeah, so and that's so cool because I've seen chatbots. I've been using chatbots on Turing websites, right? I have been using chatbots on Amazon website, Netflix. So basically every website has its own chatbot, right? And so the developers that are listening to us could be thinking that it's so hard to do, but what we need to do in order to start creating our own chatbot?
The first and most important thing for the developers to understand is that chatbots and virtual assistants define specific ways of interaction with the system. We don't have fancy websites with lots of buttons, visual clues, and cue animations to drive the user. We normally have little ways of interacting, such as text message, audio message, and image. And that's a big difference. It's a different user experience. It's a different UX, even the UI, but the experience itself is different. So by understanding that, you must design your assistant in ways that make it intuitive for the users to interact with. And this will be the basis of the assistant construction. Then, understanding that, you must first add a scope of actions it can do, what or which services it will provide. The recommendation is always to start small. Be good at doing one thing. It can be a restaurant assistant, a booking assistant, a billing assistant, whatever. And then after you being good at one thing, you can expand. So let's call it, in what we do in the startup world, as an MVP. Do a MVP, one service, do it good. So define that scope, what the service you will be doing with your assistant, and then design a conversation flow that directly and quickly brings value to the customer. No indefinitely long questions to start. Be direct, ask simple things that the user can quickly provide and give information clearly. As it's a different user experience, long conversations without getting into the point bring the user attention down, and it quickly gives up to
leave, right?
Yes.
And then close, and then you lose the user, you can lose yourself, you can, yeah, that's not good for your company, definitely not good. And so I have a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Having a good conversation flow, then you start to understand which satellite systems you will need to complete the services. Oh, I'm doing a booking, I need to interact with systems that know hotels and travel agencies. If I am doing billing, I need to know the financial services for that user. So defining the conversation, the service, you will understand what the satellite systems you will need to talk to. And then in the end, you can choose the conversation engine that suits better for you. We have IBM Watson, we have Microsoft Louise, Amazon has the Alexa technology. So I didn't talk here anything about development. I am talking here about product. What is the user experience? What my chatbot will do? What are the systems that I need? And after I define all of that, I put my hands and start integrating, developing, doing the orchestrator, the REST interfaces, the conversation engine. Just after I define everything before, then I start developing. It's not the way around.
All right, it gives us a big picture what chatbot is, right? But I have a question related to that. So can we create our chatbot or a conversation in any language like JavaScript, PHP, or Python, Java, or we should use only one language like C or assembly?
No, we can create in any language we want. There's a lot of already pre-built packages for each language. We have Java, we have JavaScript, Python. They are the most used because they are in percentage the most used languages in the internet, but you can create your own integration. In the end, what you need to do is define the technology of the orchestrator with any language that you want. Then you have the conversation engine. The conversation engine, you will have the ones on the market that I said, IBM, Microsoft and stuff, but you can implement your own. And you can implement your own using Python, TensorFlow, TensorFlow for JavaScript, or even other packages for other languages. Of course, there are languages that have most developers contributing to it and have packages more mature packages, but we don't have any kind of technology limiting. Any language that you want, start digging it, have information about it, and you can. And don't be afraid of putting your hands on the code.
Nice. That's so cool, because maybe you can start creating your own chatbot, your own API to your conversation API, and then put it as open source, and then other developers can contribute in your project as well, right? Don't be afraid of creating open source projects and also contribute to them. That help us to get new things like frameworks, library, even new language. Start with one guy that has one idea and create its on MVP, as you mentioned, put it as open source, so the guy go contribute, and then we have what we have today, right? That's nice, man. So honest, Pedro, I had a lot of fun to you about AI and chatbots today, and I think our friends would have loved the discussion as well. But before we wrap this session up, could you please share your 1 or 2 sentences on where the developers can learn and can start working with AI and also machine learning? Sorry.
Yeah, no, sure. Everything's contained within. There is always the good old Google. You can Google for any subject you want, but one particular good website is a Medium page, is towardsdatascience.com. They have pretty good articles with hands-on articles, programming in a lot of areas inside data science, AI, and machine learning. It's a good place to start with. You can dig on all their articles and start Googling for the subjects, reading papers, Stack Overflow, all the developer utility belts.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I use a lot. So I use Stack Overflow, I use YouTube, and also Google as well. I personally prefer go to YouTube. So I search for everything I want, and I watch like hundreds of videos for the same subject. And then once I have watched them, I have a big picture about the subject, and then I can get my own ideas about this. And thanks for helping us today, Pedro, and thanks a lot and for sharing your point of views for that. And I really enjoyed talking to you today. And honestly, I have to go and learn more about AI just because of you, because I want to go deep on this word for the future. Maybe I change my path for that. And I found this very helpful to our audience. And our link that we mentioned will be in the description below. You can go down below and click on it and check for yourself. And thank you everybody here for listening to what we are saying. So thank you for like this content, comment on the section below if you have any question, and also subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We are everywhere. So if you have any question that we didn't answer you today, you can go to Turing website, okay, and raise your ticket, send a message, send an email to support@turing.com, and let us know what more would like to learn. If you want to talk with Pedro, if you want a second video about AI, chatbots, I don't know, we can talk about everything. It's up to you. Please leave a message in the comment section below what more would like to learn. And I think that's it for today. Thanks a lot again, Pedro, and a final word for them.
Yes, thanks, Jose, for today's talk. It was very fun for me. I hope everyone that's watching us take anything that you like about the subject and go find more about it. If you want any question to be answered, leave the comments below. I'll pleasurely help Jose answering you. And thanks. We'll see you next time.
That's so fun, man. Thanks for doing that. And I hope you see you guys again. Okay, take care.